Massage therapists, have you ever had a sexual experience while giving a client a massage? Or what is the creepiest thing to ever happen to you while giving a client a massage? In my late 20s, I used to work as a technician in a local spa in my medium-sized town. I specialized in Swedish massage and mostly saw clients who were there for one-off sessions. I did, however, have a few consistent clients whom I saw once or twice a month. One in particular, an incredibly fit man in his early 40s. The spa was in the same building complex as a nice gym. Would come to me pretty regularly for a 90-minute session. He was always really nice. We'd chat as he settled in, and then he would get on the table and simply enjoy the massages. I would be lying if I said I didn't enjoy them too. He wasn't an incredibly buff man, but his muscle tone was amazing, and I just really enjoyed touching his body. About the fifth or sixth time he came in, something quite interesting happened. About 60 minutes in, after he had turned over and I had begun working on his front, I noticed a very obvious erection beginning to ten up. I tried as hard as I could to ignore it and simply continue on with his massage in as professional a way as I could manage. Hey, it happens, right? After about 3 minutes, he seemed to become aware as well. He sat up slowly and removed his towel completely. I took a step back, and as much as I wanted to tell him to please cover up, I was totally in awe of his member. He apologized to me and grasped his pen with his right hand at the base and began to twist. I heard a hissing sound and steam began emitting from the base of his pen as he removed it. He walked over to his jacket and pulled out a small box lined with soft felt and placed his detached pen inside and closed the lid. He walked back over to the table, put his towel back on, and damn you guys, all of these stories will be just as real as this one. Story 2. I got a good one. I'm a male escort and erotic masseuse. My prices are very high compared to a regular massage, and no one can mistake what you're buying. Also, the website I advertise on is full naked buff dudes, so there's really no confusion. Well, one day I receive a call from a man asking if I'm available. He said he would like a massage at his office in the middle of downtown. I didn't think much of this as I've done this kink for a few people before. They normally run a small business and nobody is there at that time at night. Innocent enough. But this guy requested it to be at lunch and gave me the address to a bustling building. When I arrived, it was filled with people in a beautiful, open space office. I brought my massage table, and people were making light conversation with me thinking I'm a legit masseuse. This was way out of my comfort zone. I'm used to dealing with pervy guys in dim-lit rooms, not talking to Karen and her friends interested in booking a massage. When I finally met the guy, he led me through a maze of people and departments. Everyone was staring as I was dressed like a man-ho, while everyone else was in business attire. Tank top, gray sweats, and no underwear. Gotta dress the part, you know? He leads me to an open room that had been converted into a massage area, meaning there is no doors, just a paper curtain divider that blocks the view from his coworkers. I started the message and was thinking, he can't possibly think I would do anything here, right? This is insane. After 30 mins, I started to get a sense that something is off. I would glide my hands to more intimate areas, but he'd keep talking casually. Most guys would pop a tent or ask to be massaged near their groin or start touching my banana, but he was talking about his wife and daughters. I immediately asked him how he found me. He told me it was a recommendation from one of his friends, then starting going on about his relationship with this guy and how they have a very strong friendship and that they would constantly prank each other. I froze and my heart dropped. This guy thinks this a legit massage. This was supposed to be a prank that somehow got way too advanced without any party knowing. Hence, why I'm in the middle of a tech office and he is so nonchalant about everything. I immediately went real masseuse and focused on his knots for the remainder of the time. He paid me my ridiculous fee and made a small comment about it being expensive for a massage, but it was good and convenient. I was beyond terrified as I was seconds away from doing some highly inappropriate things to this man right in the middle of his office feats from his co-workers. This is my most eerie experience I've had yet. Story 3. I do home visits. I'm male. Had a particular client 3 times. Usually I have clients stripped down to their underwear. The second session he got nude, but I didn't think much of it as he seemed okay. At the end of the third session, as I was massaging his neck while he's on his back, he just started pleasure himself. I was kind of shocked in the moment and didn't know what to do. He reached for my hand as if to get me to finish him off, and at that point, I stood up and said I have to go. It was fairly awkward waiting for him to get dressed so I could pack my table and get my money and leave. I've had a couple of incidents in my 5 years. Female therapists would have it much worse. Sucks that massage is associated with the sexual because I really like helping people overcome aches and mobility issues. But it's hard to advertise without getting calls from guys wanting their banana tugged. Story 4. I had a guy tell me, stop teasing. You know exactly what you're doing. Don't start me up and not finish. Studying to be licensed, but I volunteer my services at a harm reduction clinic. Story 5. My parents own a spa I used to work at. I have a crap ton of stories, but here's a goodie. At one point, we had 2 male massage therapists. Now, I worked in the call center, and before booking a massage, we would always clarify if the client was comfortable seeing a male massage therapist, as we had a majority female clientele. But one day, this male client books a massage for himself with our male therapist, Ed. He was a new client and actually requested a male. Whatever. Guy goes in for his appointment and the first half is normal. Dude's naked on the massage table with a blanket covering his lower half. First half of the massage, he's on his stomach. Then Ed tells him to go ahead and flip over to his back to continue. This ducker flips over, hands Ed a wad of cash from who knows where saying, "That's for you," and starts pleasure himself. Ed promptly said, "All right, your appointment is done. They'll take care of you at the front desk," and books it out of there. Dude pays leaves with no problem. Here's the kicker. Ed never told my parents, a manager, nothing. We only found out through work gossip. But because we didn't know about this creep, the guy ended up calling and scheduling another appointment with Ed. We found out shortly after booking the scoop, and the guy was asked to not come back. The spa is a pretty upscale place in the triple-digit price range, so not sure if the guy just thought we were an expensive spa with a side hustle or a really cheap brothel. Story 6. I get a call from my friend one night. Her boss wants a massage and she recommended me. Since he is my friend's boss, I don't really worry much and head over to this dude's place with my gear. When I first come in and have everything set up, the dude offers me a Vegas bomb. I pass, and the massage starts as normal. Everything is going normal. The dude was Indian, I think, and was saying how this is great. He would recommend me to all his friends, etc. But about halfway through, I hear, "You do happy ending." My hands just froze. No one had ever asked me that before. My friends make jokes and all, but I'd never before had to deal with a client seriously asking this. The conversation goes like this. Creepy dude. "You do happy ending?" Me. "No." CD. "Why not?" Me. "Because that's disgusting and unprofessional." CD. "I pay extra me. We're done here." I stopped the massage, packed up my gear, told him to pay the full price and left. Once I was home, I called up my friend to tell her what a creep her boss was. She started laughing her ass off. Apparently, he had asked her if I did happy endings, and she thought he was joking and joked back yes. Story 7. From 1921, I worked at a massage place as the receptionist. People used to come in all the time to ask how much massages were, and usually that was the extent of the conversation. One day, a bloke walked in and asked how much the massages were, so I told him. Then, he asked in an overly friendly voice if I did the massages. I naively plowed on with, "No, not me, they're done by..." When my boss walked out of the consultation room, he'd been in with a client and said, "I do the massages, can I help you?" The guy looked instantly sheepish and couldn't get out the door fast enough. My boss said he'd overheard the guy ask if I did the massages and knew something wasn't right. Told me if that ever happened again to just say I would get the masseur for him and walk out. Story 8. Not a massage therapist, but my dad is, and this is one of his favorite stories. When his clients come in, he gives them a list of Pandora stations to choose from for the session. A client comes in one day and picks 50s jazz, so like Ella Fitzgerald and stuff. The thing about some of these women from the 50s, some of their songs were not so subtly sexual. One comes on and it's about a woman asking her lover when he's coming home, but she's singing lines like, "When are you gonna come? Oh, I can't wait for you to come, baby. I love it when you come for me." He's in the middle of working on this woman's glutes when the song comes on and pauses to see if she's awake. She hadn't said anything for a while, so he figures she's just gone to sleep. It's a pain to stop what he's in the middle of working on, walk over to the phone, and wipe all the massage oil off his fingers just to skip the song, so he makes a mental note to remove it from the playlist and keeps working. A few minutes later, when the song is reaching its climax of a woman begging her lover to come, his massage bottle runs out of oil. Not a problem. He always keeps a spare on his hip because this happens. The thing is, sometimes when a bottle is being filled up a bubble of air, gets caught in the tube inside and comes out with the first pump. He goes to pump the oil into his hand, and a mix of oil and air comes out with a loud spludge sound like a cartoonish ejaculation noise. He freezes, one hand on the pump and the other on this woman's ass. She doesn't react, so again he thinks she's probably asleep. Then her entire body starts shaking with laughter. They're both laughing so hard they need to take a break from the massage to compose themselves. Thank God she was chill and found it just as funny as he did. Story 9. I have a friend who is a licensed massage therapist and has been studying medicine and been around doctors for much of his life. One of his sessions with a regular female client while she was face down and he was in front of her, by her head, working on her back. She reached up and grabbed his ass. He asked what she was doing and she said, "Sorry, I don't know. I couldn't help myself." He told her not to do that again, and the rest of the session continued as normal. At the end of the session, he got her a glass of water, and as he turned around to leave, she grabbed his ass again. Still, she apologized and seemed genuinely upset and embarrassed, insisting that she just couldn't help herself. My friend ponders for a moment before doing a peripheral vision check on her. Her vision is way below what is normal. The massage therapist calls the client's husband and suggests that they go see a doctor because there might be something wrong with her impulse control and vision, suggesting maybe some sort of frontal lobe problem. Sure enough, A few days later, she had an MRI and there was a tumor developing in her frontal lobe. Glioblastoma, I think? I forget the exact medical language he used. It was removed and she is doing fine now. Story 10. I'm a male massage therapist and on this day had a male client, not uncommon. We have our clients stripped to their underwear and lay face down first with the towel over them. I began the massage and finished in his lower back, sort of pulling on his opposite side to stretch and then pushing their back the other way. Makes a rocking motion. While I was doing this, his breathing audibly increased, which is pretty normal, so I thought nothing of it and continued. Just before I was about to stop and ask him to roll over, he grunted and moaned. I paused thinking I might have hurt him, but he just gets up in a panic, throwing the towel off and showing off a very large, noticeable wet patch in his underwear. He gazed profusely and said he tried to stop it, but couldn't help it. But before I could say it was okay and natural, he grabbed his clothes and bolted out the front. Lucky it was a quiet day, and there were no other clients. Story 11. I had a very eccentric, read creepy as damn, client who came into our clinic one day wanting a tuina massage, type of Chinese massage. We usually leave the room to let the client strip down into underwear before we commence, but with this guy I had no chance to get away. Before I had time to give him a towel, he dropped his pants to reveal a sparkling blue G-string that barely kept everything in place. The guy was about 58, huge beer gut, gray hair, gold earring, and hairy like Robin Williams. As I started the massage, the guy started to tell me that he worked as an erotic masseuse specializing in body slide massage. This is where the masseuse gets oiled up and rubs his body, all over before ducking the client at the end. The whole time I was massaging him, he kept telling me that I was really good with my hands. He also repeatedly told me how good he was at his job and plugging his business with a hinting tone. A very awkward session. Story 12. My wife is a registered massage therapist. A lot of tradespeople go out west to work, be overpaid, but return to visit family, or inevitably return. She had one such client who had just gotten back from the oil rigs and assured her that if she did a real good job, he'd tip her well, in more than one way. She said she'll make sure she does a good job and to apply deep pressure if that's what he wanted, but he just kept suggesting a real good job and lots of money. She's not a prude and she doesn't take crap from anyone. However, wasn't sure if his pen was moving involuntarily or if he was actually wagging it at her. I chimed in and let her know that the dude was definitely pen wagging, hoping she'd take notice. Obviously, she didn't do anything, got a mediocre tip, and saw the guy maybe once or twice after with similar, if not less subdued interactions. That's probably the worst thing to happen to her. However, a male colleague of hers had been charged with assault and causing physical harm to a couple clients. Crap does happen, more than one might think. Story 13. I enjoy a good butt massage, but I don't enjoy the amount of focus it takes to keep it half-mast at most for 90 minutes instead of enjoying the massage so the undies stay on the bandies. Story 14. My massage therapist once asked, "Are you satisfied?" toward the end of the session, and something about his tone felt very suggestive, and I don't know, maybe I was just projecting, but I said that yes, I was. And he finished the massage normally, and I went on my way, and I never book him anymore. Story 15. I was told about a friend of mine's experience with a masseur. She's really into witchy stuff and swears by the idea of manifesting outcomes by putting the idea out into the world and truly devoting yourself to it. She just doesn't really seem to understand that as long as her desires can somehow be obtained by exploiting the sexual whims of various men, she will have no issues making things happen in life. Poor girl is 29 and she just found out that, as a reasonably attractive, hypersexual woman, there are countless men who will pay for her to do things for no reason other than the fact that they want to sleep with her. All that is to say that one day, after having recently become single, she got the idea in her head that she wanted to get a massage with a happy ending. Her mindset, she began her process of manifesting the outcome of having sex with a guy who has just spent a substantial amount of time rubbing down her naked body. She succeeded as the next time she went out to get a massage, the therapist rawed her on the table and decided it was probably a bad idea to accept payment for the full-body internal and external massage he just administered. My naive friend went on to assume that this only worked because she manifested it into existence, and it had nothing to do with a horny man having spent 40 minutes rubbing down a thick yoga booty while she did her best to express how turned on she was getting. Story 16. My wife and I were at a small resort in Costa Rica. When we go on vacations, she always gets massages, but I never do. This time, we decided to get a couple's massage. We get in the room, and the two are waiting for us each by a table. She had this Latin love god, and I, a cute girl in her early 30s. They tell us to take off our clothes and gave us these little paper undies, then left the room. The room was nice. It had a little fountain with some foliage and some soothing sounds from speakers. We each looked at the paper undies, laughed, and decided to forgo them. It just seemed silly. They started the massage, and it felt good. She would stretch my arm, then start working it first, going over it lightly, then gradually getting harder. The time came to do my butt. She moved the towel down and started working my cheeks, then the inside of my cheeks, which I thought was odd, but I'm new to this massage world. And maybe that's what a deep tissue was. At this time, I'm starting to feel not relaxed, but insecure. I suddenly became aware of my wife next to me, who sounds more than relaxed. Meanwhile, back at my butt, she was really doing the inside of the cheeks well. I had hoped this was the last spot she would do. The last thing I want is butt cheek sweat rubbed all over my body, then started to press down on my actual ass. I felt pressure building up behind her thumb. I clench and I clench like I never have before. I spin around and say very politely, "Thank you for the massage." My wife, "Our time isn't up yet." I told her we have to go now. I told my wife what happened, and she laughed at me and said, "Only to you." And now this is her favorite story to tell. Story 17. When I was in school, I had placed an ad for in-home services as a means of getting me more practice, and also to make some extra cash on the side. I did this while working 40 hours a week and going to school 10 hours a day on my days off. It was a pretty exhausting few months. Because I went to people's homes, I had some pretty specific steps about how I screened clients, being very clear about what services I was giving. It's a relaxation massage booked by the hour. I bring my table. You are fully D'd during this. Most people that were looking for some kind of intim service were pretty upfront and rarely pushy. But I ended up with some good clients that were just busy or traveled into town regularly and didn't have the time to visit a spa. One Friday, I was home in the evening and laying down for a nap when my phone rang with someone looking to book an appointment. I gave them the spiel about what I offered and prices, and he asked if he could get the massage without the blanket. Some people ask this, so I always like to bring up how cold someone tends to get during a massage. The draping is for privacy. If you get overheated, I can adjust your waist, etc. Most people usually got the point or were understanding. He was mildly fussy about the sheet, so I offered draping his waist with a towel. He responded saying this was fine because I could. I checked to see if he was still there. He was. We just hit a bad reception patch. No big deal. I confirmed the time and place and set the appointment for around 8 p.m. When I arrived at the client's townhouse, as I walk up, I hear loud music playing. All I'm thinking of is that I hope he can hear me as I knock on the door, which opened to blast my ears with smooth R&B and revealed an old white man wearing a sleeveless coral shirt with ruffles. It looked like something an older woman would pick up from Walmart to be dress casual. I think nothing of it. Who am I to judge what weird clothes this guy wants to wear and walk in also noticing he's already not wearing pants? Okay, whatever. He's Donald ducking around his apartment getting ready for a massage, but he's clearly wearing some kind of underwear, so I don't acknowledge it. I set up my table, focusing on my work rather than his odd attire, and make polite conversation. As I'm ready to go, I say that I need to change the music so I can focus and he can relax, and that I'll wash my hands. While I do that, he can climb onto the table and get under the towel on his back. This is when I turn to change the CD in his player, and I can see out of the corner of my eye as he took off the top that what he's wearing underneath are the frilliest pair of lacy panties. This is not the most normal of situations, but I think that I have two options. One, this guy is a weirdo pervert and wants to get a reaction out of me for wearing something shocking. Two, this guy is into wearing ladies' clothing, and this is how he gets to be in private. No matter what the actual answer, my best course of action is to not acknowledge his attire and go about the session. I worked through, did my routine as normal while he was on his back and focused on my work. For the most part, it was a pretty standard massage, though I did have to fight the compulsion to flip the tag of his panties back inside his underwear, lest I call attention to them. But when I did his feet, he kept splaying his legs out, which, when I wasn't thinking, gave me a glance at his balls hanging out from that lace. His legs were pushed back together, and I kept my eyes on the floor after that. At the end of the session, I cleaned up quickly, thanked him, collected my money, and left. At the end of it, he paid me 3 times my rate, which was nice. It was still an awkward session, though. Story 18. Believe me or not, I had a massage with a girl once, and she was new. Before I flipped over from my stomach, she whispers, "Anything else I can do or focus on before you turn over?" Based on the place being one of the most popular massage places nationwide, I figured she meant it non-sexually. I said no. I turn over and she massages my legs, no problem. But when she does my arms, she rests my hands on her breasts slightly, and I had to think about my grandma so hard to keep from getting in trouble. We finished the massage and I left. I rescheduled and got her again a few weeks later, and she had changed up her style to rest my arm on her rolling chair for that. So someone must have mentioned something. Story 19. Previously a certified massage therapist and nothing creepy or sexual. I've been physically attracted to clients before, but it is drilled into your head that this is absolutely not the setting to pursue this. There was maybe one odd thing that isn't all that odd, but was distracting to me. I always did the client so the top of the sheet is up to their armpits. 4. So guys, and girls obviously, always have their nipples covered. This one dude, though, kept folding the sheet down to just under his nipples. I would keep moving him and adjusting the sheet, but he would eventually fold it back down. The edge of the sheet perfectly underlined his nipples, and I just kept getting distracted by them. They were like two eyes staring at me. Story 20. Kind of funny, non-sexual unless you're into it. Moment happened. As I was massaging this lady, I guess she got really relaxed and started falling asleep, until she startled herself awake with a hard fart, and yes, I did jump back in fear. Story 21. No registered massage therapist I know would risk their job like that. Some places license it, and sexual stuff like this puts your livelihood at risk. Instead of fetishizing a trope in movies, just go to a prostitute. Story 22. I don't do massages, but I used to do body wraps for detox and inch loss. A regular customer came in for a half body wrap before going on a cruise. I knew she did them completely nude, and she was very nice. Her husband called me that evening and said her pussy lips were no longer symmetrical, and I had to redo the wrap and make them match. Obviously, I have zero control over how the body will react to the wrap, but knowing she was a good client, I'd be more than happy to try. I figure wrapping that area a little tighter might help, so I did. After the wrap, he came into the room and told me to stay in case I needed to do anything. He got down on his knees and she spread her legs. He started inspecting her. I stayed a few minutes not wanting to leave since he had told me to stay, but when the inspection turned sexual and they clearly just wanted an audience, I got the hell out of Dodge. He said I would have gotten a fat tip if I stayed, and I said, yeah, I bet it would have been more than the tip, and told them never to return. Story 23. I have one. I was in Tibet in 2009. I can't remember which small city I stopped in, but it was pretty dilapidated, save for the one large fancy-schmancy hotel. It was around day 6 or 7 of a very busy 11-day trip, and we were all exhausted. My parents are quite fond of massages and wanted to get one and suggested and get one as well. And so it begins. I'm definitely not a massage person, but damn, and figured it wasn't the worst idea. So I went in, female masseuse came in and started massaging. Mind you, I requested the basic massage with my shorts and a t-shirt on. About 15 minutes into what I assume was a great massage, or just exhaustion, I fell asleep. Not knowing if there's any unsaid etiquette that you shouldn't sleep, I kept waking myself up. The masseuse noticed this and asked me, "You want sleep?" in a very, very heavy accent. I said, "Yes, I do," to which she replied, Okay. So I took a fantastic power nap for a bit. Towards the end of the massage, she got up and said, "You here wait, okay?" "Okay then." She got up and walked out of the room for a minute. Anyhow, while waiting, I noticed some writing on the wall next to the bed. It looked something like 500 or 400 odd. Just some number scratched out on, "Wait a damn minute." She was asking whether I want to sleep with her. That was a price negotiation. Cue panic mode. I'm barely 20. My dad is waiting outside for his massage. My cousin is in the adjoining massage room. Before I could get out, she came back. While she started putting her finishing touches on the massage, she asks me again, "You want sleep?" No, I don't." "Why?" "Oh, just don't want to." But why? I'm married. I give good price." We sleep? No thanks." I quickly got up and practically ran out of there. Didn't see my dad there, so I figured he must have already gone in for his massage. Fast forward 10 years. My parents, wife, and I were just hanging out late at night when we started talking about how great Tibet was. Somehow the conversation shifted to that fateful day, except it was my mom telling us about it. I don't remember telling her about it, though. She's like, "You won't believe what happened to your father." "Oh, you know what? I know!" And I proceeded to narrate the whole story. Apparently, it was worse for my dad. Turns out he just went to the bathroom when I ran out. He ended up with the same massage lady, and she ended up disrobing in front of him, and he too booked it out of there. Great place. Shady massages. Story 24. I used to be an LMT. A few incidents led me to quit the profession because it wasn't profitable, or I had creepy old dudes trying to get me to do discreet crap with them. I'm a male BTW. I did sports massage, and this old tennis coach from a prestigious private school comes in needing a full-body deep tissue. Okay, cool. He might be able to hook me up with the school to do their pre and post during tennis sessions. Halfway through the session, he asks if I could focus more on his glutes. Okay, it's a common thing. Tennis requires a lot of running, and hamstrings and glutes go together. He then asks if I could go deeper. "Could you massage my prostate?" Record screech. What the duck? "No, I'm not going to massage your prostate, but your urologist can check that for you." His hand tries to feel up my leg when I worked on his shoulders, and the further he moved up, I brush his hand off. Next thing you know, he's grabbing my thighs hard, and I grab his clavicle hard in response and told him if he doesn't let go, he won't be teaching tennis anymore, then told him to Godfo. He still paid me and told me he was going to come back because he liked a fighter. Did a search on him, and he's still teaching at that college. I'm thinking there's going to be a news buzz one day of sexual kind at that school surrounding that coach. Damn him. Story 25. Secondhand story as I was told it, so take it for how you will. This is what I believe to be true. So my sister's best friend is a RMT, and another one is a shift manager at the biggest hotel in town. Typically, Corey, the manager, will recommend Dave, the RMT, to guests looking for something better than the in-house masseuse. Dave is essentially the unofficial staff memeber. Everyone knows him. He does in-room visits regularly and gets invites to the staff parties. Being the biggest hotel in a tourist and convention town, there are lots of movie stars and high-roller business folk who stay here. Dave has seen many in his day. One day, a pretty big male movie star requests Dave for a massage. No problem. The movie star in the King Suite with the fake name. This is all the normal stuff. Table is ready to go. Massage is going fine. Nothing out of the ordinary. Then, out of nowhere, the movie star flips over, fully erect, and says, "Okay, now work on this." Dave is as gay as they come, as he is most professional. He explained that's not what he does, and if he expects a happy ending, then he'll stop right there. Apologetically, the movie star played it off as a joke and asked him to continue. Massage over, huge tip was left, and asked not to mention his joke to anyone. The tabloid's getting a hold of this, am I right? Dave explained the situation to Corey, whom apologized, but really they both laughed about it later. Years later, Dave and Corey told me the story, and I was skeptical. Then when the allegations of the movie star came out as being gay, everything clicked, and suddenly I realized I should have believed it from the start. Story 26. In my story, a husband and wife were getting a couple's massage. I had the wife, I'm a guy, and my coworker, a very attractive woman, had the husband. Throughout the massage, the guy kept coughing loudly, and my client was a quite loud moaner. When I'd hit a certain knot, she would just let out the most erotic-sounding sighs. The real high point of this, though, was when the husband flipped over onto his back and it became immediately apparent he had a raging hard-on. The sheets were fully tented to such a degree that it was apparent he wasn't wearing any underwear. After a second or two of finagling under the covers, the guy legitimately grabbed his pen and held it down against him until either he got himself under control or until the end of the massage. I don't know. I imagine my coworker may have ended the massage, but I think she felt pressured as it would have been quite the debacle to explain the situation to the guy's wife about how she didn't feel comfortable massaging her husband with his raging hard-on. Bonus story is from my Bill's work. This happened at a fairly high-end spa where a 60-minute service will net you around a $200 bill. At this location, they have a couple's suite, which consists of a hot tub, shower, massage table, and a private balcony. It's sold as a sort of couples bonding service where a LMT will show the couple a few techniques for massaging one another before leaving the pair in the room for an hour of uninterrupted bonding. Naturally, this can lead to some scenarios, but from what I hear, most are pretty quiet. One poor lady had to sit through an entire hour of her facial, had to be a facial service, while listening to the obnoxious couples next door who seemed to be chasing their facials of a completely different nature. There was banging, knocking, grunting, moaning, etc. I think they comped the lady the service fee, but still, imaging sitting in a dark room listening to people have sex on the other side of the wall for an entire hour while trying to relax. Story 27. Years ago in my early 20s, I enrolled in a massage school in the Bay Area, CA, to get my license. There was an academic side, anatomy, and physiology, and a practical side of alternating massages with the other students for several hours each time we met. On day one, the group was me, one older guy, about 10 or 12 women in their 20s and 30s, and the 40-ish woman who ran the school. On day two, the other guy quit. For the rest of the course, I was the only man, naked, in a big open room full of massage tables and naked women. I was comfortable with social nudity, and although the situation was kind of abstractly exciting, mainly while anticipating them disrobing, I found I naturally tuned into the personal and vulnerable story each woman's body had to tell. The main feeling was compassion. I didn't get a hard-on because the vibe was clearly non-sexual. Context matters. The only hot memory that still sizzles a bit was one day when I was on the table face up, and the woman massaging me was working my thighs. This is almost an automatic erection trigger, and I went full extension in seconds. For what it's worth, I'm a little bigger than average. Suddenly, our teacher was at the foot of the table and calling the class to gather around, and they did. Paraphrasing, she said, "This happens with male clients all the time. Erections are spontaneous. It's normal, often completely innocent, and nothing you ever need to do anything about." I suspect she'd been wanting to make this point with the group, and I was the only one present who could demo the situation. I just laid there, pointing at the ceiling and feeling the eyes on me in a kind of out-of-body experience till she dismissed everyone back to their tables. Story 28. Licensed massage therapist here. It is illegal for me to cross into sexual boundaries giving a massage to paying clients. The consequence is losing my massage license. I've spent years in training and spent thousands of dollars to keep this license, so I will not do anything to jeopardize my license, no matter how much a client may beg for me to cross the boundaries. And they have begged, but that's not what you want to hear. So I have had massage-related relationships with massage colleagues. That's hot because it's consensual. We're not paying each other, and we're both professional massage therapists, so everything feels really good. But the fear of death has been instilled in my mind to never cross that boundary with paying clients. Story 29. I've been on the opposite end, male, had just been out to a bachelor party and had a rough night's sleep, etc. I decided to get a massage to feel better. It was Sunday afternoon, and I didn't think my normal place was open, so I just popped into the first massage place I saw. It was $70 for full body 1 hour. I was happy with that, so I went in. They asked if I had been there before, and I said no. Got friendly service, etc., and sat down and started undoing my escort laces. Then the lady leaned in and said, "And do you want?" and made a hand gesture that explains exactly what full body meant. I got uncomfortable, but didn't show it. I just said, No, just massage. She said, "Oh, sorry, I think you might be in the wrong place. Are you sure you don't want extra?" I said, "No thanks," and started doing my escorts back up. And awkwardly, we both realized there was a misunderstanding about what the business was. I left and said, "Have a good one," and called my wife to tell her that the massage place near home is not a massage place. She laughed, and we were both a bit shocked. Have never been back. Story 30. So this happened last summer. My family and I were on holiday in Thailand, and since Thai massage there is both fantastic and very good after a long flight, I tried out most massage places I came across. Everyone was very professional and respectful, although their massage style was a little more intimate than in my home country. The very last night I had an hour massage before the flight home and found a massage place I had not been to yet. The place was like everyone else and seemed perfectly okay. For information, I am a woman, so never was afraid that the massaged ladies would try something. Oh boy, I was wrong. The massage started quite normally, but it hit me that she massaged my butt while massaging my back. I was just thinking by all means, okay, get that booty massage too. 12 hours on a plane seat isn't very good. I began to realize that something was going on as she massaged the back of my thighs, at the same time extending her hand so far forward that she touched my pussy. I tried to squeeze my thighs as hard as I could, but to no avail. I was so shocked that I didn't even dare say anything. I turned on the other side, and the same thing happened in front. The lady massaged me in the groin, and of course, hit the pussy completely random. She asked within the hour if I liked the massage, so she hinted if I wanted a happy ending. When she was done with the lower part, she started to knead me on the tits. She even pinched my nipples and the whole package ! Exclamation mark. When I left, I was more stressed in body and mind than when I arrived. My husband, Ed hard and told me I should stick to the massage at the hotel. Story 31. My story is different from everyone else's. I'm woman lumped, and the spa I work at gives us one free massage a month, which is super great. For the past 7-ish months, I've been getting regular massages from my male coworker. He's amazing at his job, very professional and knowledgeable. In med school to be a trauma anesthesiologist, has a young daughter, an all-around trustworthy guy. Anyway, the spa has been so extra busy with gift cards and holidays and everything, the owner asked if we could get our personal massages from a different location, corporate chain, for a few weeks. My coworker offered to let me come to his place to get a massage. He lives across the street at an apartment he runs his own private practice out of. I show up and he says it's cool if I want to take off my underwear. Weird, but not really that crazy. Then he starts pushing physical boundaries, but nothing too far. Then he asks if there's any other places he wants me to work since we're not at the spa. Now I'm uncomfortable, but try to play if off. Nah, I'm actually feeling pretty good everywhere else. What you're doing now is fine. He hits me with, if it's only pretty good now, imagine how much better I could make feel. Excuse me? You probably shouldn't say stuff like that to women clients. It could really be taken the wrong way that sounded bad, haha. I tried to make light of how uncomfortable I now was. He finished without any more inappropriateness. 6 weeks ago, he was arrested for abusing a woman in his apartment. He was actively recruiting women from the spa to take advantage of them. I got around 10 massages from him and never had any idea. Story 32. I used to work for a very prominent spa here in Las Vegas. Here are some stories for you. A lady in her early 50s comes in to get a massage. She gets robed up and heads down to get her massage. She's uttering words softly to herself. She sits on the massage table and says, "This is a sin. God wouldn't want this. This isn't right," to the massage therapist. Gets up and leaves the room. She still got charged for the massage. I guess she felt sinful for getting touched by another woman. A couple is getting a massage. After the couple's massage, the therapists tell them to get robed and leave the room. It took them 10, 15 minutes to get robed and a lot of moaning coming from the room. I walk around the spa to clean up. I open the door to a secluded area with a pool. I catch one of our regulars, pleasure himself in the pool. He's embarrassed, and I play it off as if I didn't just catch him whacking off. I am in the spa area, and there's this gay guy just prancing around. He is wasted out of his mind. He starts walking around the men's area, starts touching guys. He was looking for some action, I guess. I tell him that he needs to stop. He was not pleased. There were numerous of times where our female therapists get propped to finish off our clients. They feel that they're paying an awful amount for a massage, so why shouldn't they get the full service? This was a very prominent spa at the time. A lot of celebrities and athletes would come in all the time. Story 33. My worst was the guy in my school internship who kept trying to touch me and reach up my shorts legs and stuff. I was in the mode of just finish the session and leave. Next time, just walk out, the director said. Honestly, I was too embarrassed to tell anyone until he kept showing up saying he was looking for me and leaving me voicemails and stuff. Finally, I told the director and he was blacklisted, but not his wife. So his wife went in and he sat next to her looking sheepish and not looking up. Some older fella. One recent guy kept telling me to do his legs, but I could tell this was for, other reasons, so I avoided it. When he flipped, he took the sheet and blanket with him to reveal a full erection. I pretended not to notice and put it back over him. Then after the session, he appeared to leave something on the toilet. Blacklisted now. Story 34. I had just got done with massage school and met a salon owner in a continuing education class. She offered me the gig of taking care of apps and walk-ins while I built up clients. Seemed perfect. Until one day, all the other ladies were all done for the day. They got a call that a guy needed a massage at 5 p.m., so they throw it to me. I'm female. They all leave and said to lock up after. 19 years old me was stocked to get my second client ever out of school. He's old enough to be my dad and told me he was ready for me to come in the room, and when I opened the door, he was just naked, slowly laying down. Now I'm seriously freaked out. He says, "Just come in, no big deal." I left the door open because no one else was there. I start the massage with him face down. Needless to say, I found out quickly that the person I was working for had a lot of clients like this. He tried to butter me up about how pretty I was, best massage ever, etc. I'm shaking now. He turned over to expose himself, and I screamed that this was not okay. He was not happy, that he booked a late APT just for this reason. I ran and locked myself in the bathroom and called my mom. When I heard he left, he pleasured himself onto the sheets and the wall, left $20. I took all my crap, left the key in the mail slot, and never ever did a massage again. Story 35 was in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico a couple of months ago with my GF for a wedding. We booked a couple of 90-minute massages at our resort, a bit pricey, but whatever, we're on vacation. It was a couples massage, and there were separate men's and women's locker rooms for pre and post the massage. They'd let you sauna/shower/drink some champagne and give you a nice hot compress before ushering you to the massage room. After the massages, I go back to the locker room, shower up, and wait for my GF. And wait and wait. When she finally does come out, she says, "Wow, that was so nice how they give you an extra little massage." I say, "Duck, they didn't offer me one." It comes out then that not only did they give her a second massage, but the guy who did it offered her a happy ending. He would apparently move his hand around with oil and say, "You want cream here? The arm? Yeah, no problem. The back? Sure. My glutes? Okay. You want cream here," he apparently says as he moves his hand towards my GF's nether regions. "No, I don't, Mr. Strange Foreign Towel Boy." She tells me she turned it down. TBH, I don't think I'd have been mad if she'd taken him up on it. What actually makes me mad is they never offered me one or let me know she would be a while. I could have been extra relaxed. From another 10 minutes in the sauna. Yeah, that's it. Story 36. I had a client with a slight language barrier. After giving him ample time to change, I knocked on the door. He said come in and was standing against the table, totally naked. Giving him the benefit of the doubt due to the language barrier, I explained he needed to be on the table underneath the blanket. I left, and he got on the table. When I came back in, he asked that I not use lotion, which is super weird. But I didn't comment, just started working. Then he starts asking me what I was doing tonight, and I said I was working. He asked me to come to his hotel for drinks, and he'd show me a night ID, never forget. I let him know the conversation was inappropriate and that we'd have to stop if he kept asking me to come by later. He was silent for a bit and then asked me if he could fly me to Dubai and meet his wife because he thinks she'd like me and that we could be a family. I said, okay, that's enough and this treatment is over. He flipped over onto his back, pulled the sheet back and asked if I'd touch his banana. I left and the receptionist screamed at him while he walked out. Story 37. So, I'm not a massage therapist, but one time I went to one. It was the mother of my uncle's girlfriend at the time. She was kinda new to it all, and my uncle asked for me to get a massage so she could get some experience. Anyways, in the middle of the massage, everything was going as normal until she started using some oil on my body. For some reason, that gave me a huge boner. Keep in mind that woman was like 45I while I was 21I at the time. She was pretty for her age, but a lot older nonetheless. She realized I had a boner and went on normally saying that happens sometimes and it's normal, so I should not be too worried about that, but crap. It was super embarrassing. So things went on, but the boner didn't go away and I started to freak out a little. At some point, she started talking that she liked that a man so young found her attractive, and things got a little weirder as it went on. When she finished the massage, I was still hard, and she said, "Well, I have to do something about that," and gave me a hand job. It was good, but after she finished, I had that moment of clarity realizing that the whole scene was super weird. Afterwards, she told me not to worry, as she would not tell anyone about that. But I still see her from time to time since my uncle married her daughter, and it gets awkward every time. Story 38. So I'm a bit naive, as you'll soon understand. I love reflexology. It's so damn relaxing. Well, one day, having got the train from Yorkshire to London for work, and after miles and miles of walking, my feet hurt really bad. So I Googled a massage place that said they did something similar for feet. Perfect, I thought. Walk in, nice lady. Who doesn't speak good English takes me downstairs and asked me to take my clothes off. I thought it had just been a bit of miscommunication. So I pointed at my feet and took my sescorts and socks off. The lady looked really puzzled, but she motioned for me to hop on the table. Putting a nice pillow behind my head, I thought, perfect, I can chill out now. Next thing I know, she starts sucking on my big toe. In total shock, I kick my leg in the air and accidentally hit her in the face. Apologizing, I paid the cash and a little bit more and ran out the door. Sorry, no, but thank you, I'm not here for that. Terribly sorry, goodbye. Still putting my sescorts and socks on outside on the busy street. Needless to say, my feet still hurt. More so when I realized she actually bit my foot. Confession over. Story 39. I asked my masseuse this once. We'd been talking about his experience as a therapist, and he made a really good point. When you consider how many clients a massage therapist would typically be seeing in a day or even a week, would you really want them to be giving you any form of intim favors? He'd get those secret shoppers periodically book sessions and be openly trying to get some form of experience for the session, and he'd give them the exact same answer he gave everyone else. After he's already given out 5 massages earlier that day, there is no chance he would have any intention of doing anything sexual with any of them. They're clients, not hookups. Story 40. I was supervising at the student clinic at the massage school I teach at, and I was told by another supervisor that this creep guy would pleasure himself in the room after the massage was over by one student and leave his calm-filled sheets for her to deal with. It was nasty, and I'm pretty sure he was kicked out after the second time because then there was no way it was a horrible accident. My own story is tame. I'd get people ask if I can go home with them and massage them at home, or they'd call my clinic and ask the receptionist if we do happy endings. Nothing crazy. Massage therapy is pretty serious in the province I live in, so it's not common for people to get weird. When I worked in America, I had an older guy grab my end and interlock his fingers with mine when I was massaging his hands, and then he asked if I was single, and I said, "Has this ever worked?" I was a student therapist at the time. Story 41. There is a pretty famous actor TV show hoster here in Brazil who loves going to a massage place my friend works. She was randomly selected to give him a massage one day, and he absolutely loved her and got a hard-on during the process. He started flirting with her, and since he is famous and attractive, my friend thought, well, and they kissed. He insisted in doing more, but she stopped him because the other workers often come to get towels and other stuff from the other rooms. But the thing about this is that this guy is married and play the good husband on Instagram, and people see his as a role model at a point is hard to believe in her history, but I know her, and she wouldn't lie. Story 42. Not me, but a friend of mine who's a part-time masseuse. One day, she had a guy in his late 30s, early 40s come in for a back massage. When he took off his shirt, his back was literally blackhead central. Like there wasn't one spot in which he didn't have a blackhead, and her hand was slathered in gross juice and pus when she tried to massage him. She just gave up after that. Story 43. Sex work is legal in Japan. Everything except intercourse. Ironically, anal is legal. There are sketchy places in Tokyo owned by Yakuza where anything goes. Before you get too excited, most places do not allow foreigners. If you speak decent Japanese as a foreigner, you might find a place to let you enjoy the ladies. There is also very expensive hostess clubs that, like other countries like Thailand, you can negotiate a take-home gal. For the lucky Japanese men, there is a delivery service called Deri Haru, where your companion visits your place. Again, this is costly, and same no intercourse laws apply. Everything else is legal. Also, for the geijin non-Japanese who gets lucky finding a gal in a bar or elsewhere, such as online, there are love hotels everywhere to be used for an hour or two. Finally, the best city for sexual thrills is actually in Osaka, although Tokyo's pink salon soapies are the ultimate, where there are whole neighborhoods of storefront hot establishments like in Amsterdam or so. Korea. Story 44. Back in college, my buddy claimed that he got a BJ at a local massage parlor. I'm like, bull crap, of course. Literally a month later, they got busted for it. Story 45. Ex-massage therapist here. I had a pretty great run and never had any big problems. I am a big guy and never felt like I was in danger, but there were a few creeps. A boner here and there, which is not great and is certainly inappropriate, but I also understand that can be out of someone's control. Older women making comments about if only they were younger. The funniest was a guy who kept inviting me on extravagant trips. The last one he tried was fly fishing in Morocco. One guy reached for my ass, and I told him to get off my table, then promptly packed up and walked out. At the door, he counted a large amount of cash out and gave it to me. I assume it was a way of compensating me for his behavior. All in all, I worked full-time on 2 different continents and never had any very bad incidents. It was a great way to make money until my thumbs crapped out after a decade, and I had to stop. Story 46. I'm a male and had an ad up on Craigslist offering erotic massage for women only. Had several customers, but one stood out. She was a chiropractor who had a fantasy of an erotic massage in her clinic. While it was open, I showed up under the pretense of possibly working there, and my massage was my interview, so it was set up beforehand. It was actually pretty hot because her reception was maybe 8 feet away through a door. While I rubbed her down, she gave me BJ, and then I got her off on the table. Super fun. Story 47. My brother met his wife in massage therapy school. It was supposed to be a one-night stand, but the next morning she slept in. My brother, being the dumb old softy he is, let her sleep. He called me and asked to check in on her to make sure she didn't rob him blind. I walked in to find her watching his adult films on the couch. They've been married for 14 years. Romance! Story 48. I used to work as a receptionist in a therapy center. We offered chiropody, chiropractors, hypnotherapy, Bowen, and massage, amongst many other things. We only once had a sketchy client. Some dude came in and repeatedly insisted on having a full-body massage. I'm not an idiot. It was clearly not that sort of establishment. We rented rooms out to the NHS for duck's sake. I just called him out on it and just said, "We are not that type of place. Now get out before I throw you out." Anyway, I am very close with the massage therapist who worked there. I've asked her this same question a couple of times, and she says that she takes extra precaution to not be put in positions such as this. Not sure what that means. Maybe she has a big pair of scissors that she takes into sessions to dissuade people. Snip, snip. Story 49. I was at my masseur last Saturday. She's female, I'm male. We chat during the whole session. She's very talkative and actually sounds like a fun person. Somehow the conversation headed to the topic of this question, and I asked her if she gets many happy ending requests. She said that one time a young priest started touching her during the massage. She handled it very professionally, asked him to stop. He stopped. She finished the massage. The priest apologized. And he is still a regular to this day. She has gotten pretty good at filtering out these people, not picking up private numbers, checking out customers on Facebook if they make an appointment online, etc. Story 50. I once had a friend who explained that when she first moved here, she accidentally got a job at a massage parlor that was clearly the Diet Coke version of a brothel. Which just seems odd to me because we have proper legal brothels here that folks could easily go to. But apparently massage parlors that illegally offer handjobs are pretty common and are clearly getting customers. And being new to the country, she hadn't known to look out for that. Anyway, a customer kept dropping increasingly heavy hints about a handjob, and when she spoke to her boss, the guy was like, "No, you don't give the guys intim favors unless they pay extra, in which case consider it." And one of the other girls there refused to tell her boyfriend where she was working. My friend quit after the first day. Story 51? Not super sexual, but I worked at a high-end med spa as a receptionist a few years ago. This guy came in asking for a facial, but I guess when he went back, he just asked her to massage his face for the entire 45 minutes. Nothing else. She told me he moaned a lot and kept repeating her name. He rebooked like 4 times, and the poor esthetician kept telling the bosses that she felt uncomfortable about it and that they were essentially pimping her out. Turns out they were hustling her tips. This guy tipped 100% for these services, and she didn't see a dime. And we later found out one of the owners had an embezzlement charge in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's so common in the industry, unfortunately. Story 52. Not a therapist, but I went to a local joint to get a massage. I'm a guy and wanted a female therapist, but none were available. My back was all jacked up, so I agreed to have a male therapist. He's doing his thing. My back is feeling good. We're making small talk, and I ask him if it's common to get hard during a massage. He says, "Yeah, sure, it happens sometimes." I respond, "Great, you think you could get yours out of my face?" Story 53. My sister is a massage therapist and is often asked what extras she offers, to which she answers Indian head massage, reflexology, and hand massages. That's all. They normally hang up then. Did have one client go to strip completely and looked confused when she told him his underwear stayed on. But what about after? After? You pay and leave, there isn't anything after. Had the massage, paid and didn't book again. Story 54. I had never had a massage from anyone other than girlfriend's wife. I took a fall while at a work meeting in Seattle, and my doc prescribed massage therapy to work some kinks out in my neck. I have gotten to know the therapist pretty well, and we chat about her funnier clients. The woman that pays extra to get her hair on her head pulled the guy that goes to her to pretend he isn't gay, the man that shaves his entire body and rubs his hands all over himself while she is massaging him, the man that books online and never speaks a word. Goes in twice a week. Story 55. I'm a guy, and I mostly work on gay men. When I tell them I don't do happy endings, that keeps most of the creeps away. Lots of guys try stuff. I keep the atmosphere light, but I'm firm with boundaries. I don't blame them for trying as long as they're respectful after that. My favorite was one guy. After the massage was over, he told me, "Now get over here and sit that crap on daddy's face." I started cracking up and told him that unfortunately, I didn't have a pussy and was really bad at being told what to do. Story 56. My boss told me a story about a time he went to get a massage. It was a young Asian lady, and every time she would get near his legs, she would accidentally rub part of his balls, which made him hard. He slipped her a $20 and asked if he could touch her, and she said yes. He told my brother, he used to work at the same place, him and my boss were really good friends, and he went to the same massage place, did the same thing. Story 57. Not me, but my friend's fiancé. Straight couple, he's a masseur. And about 2 years later, I was working with a man who said he would get the best massages from another man that included happy endings. The guy would massage him naked and stick as a hole in his face, and then he is pleasure himself. Turns out it was my friend's straight fiancé. They have since broken up, but I never asked her if she knew, and she's never brought it up to me. FYI, her and I were more acquaintances, so it really wasn't my place to mention it. Story 58. Turn it around. I've had 3 different therapists at reputable massage places. I'd love to help you out with that, as she rubbed higher and higher on my leg. I'd love to work on you privately and really explore your muscles, as she worked on my legs and moved the towels back further and further, blatantly slipping fingers in my crack as he massaged my hamstrings. Yep, only one was a creepy dude. Story 59. I'm a new massage therapist and has a 50 or so aged guy message my Insta asking about my services. We messaged back and forth for a bit until he asked if the massage was fully nude. I said that only the areas worked on will be exposed, to which he said, "That's a shame," and blocked me. Not the worst thing in the world, but as one of the first few potential clients, it's definitely an experience. Story 60. Yes, I think you would be hard-pressed to find one who have not experienced anything. For me, the most common one is men grabbing my inner thigh while I am working on their back. Some have started humping the table, others just ask why they did not get a happy ended, acting annoyed at me. My stories are mild, compared to others I have talked to. Story 61. I've been doing massage 7 years, and I've never encountered being propositioned. I was fortunate enough to have my own practice, though. On my intake sheet, which the client signs, it states, advances will not be tolerated, and the session will be immediately terminated at the client's expense. Story 62. My friend is a physiotherapist and was working with elderly people. This one time during leg stretching and massage, her client shat himself. She was quite upset about it for a long time until she started laughing about it. Story 63. My boyfriend recently told me he once received a happy ending while at an all-gay resort in Florida. To be honest, it seems kind of implicit at a place like that.